Joining us now is Slate.com senior editor Dahlia Lithwick to help us make sense of this. Dahlia, it is great to lay eyes on you. Thank you for making time to be here tonight.
So good to be here.
First, let me ask you what I screwed up in explaining that, and if it was fair to describe today's ruling as a surprise, given what people thought of the arguments back in November.
You didn't screw up. I do think it's important that the court didn't get to the constitutional question. The court expressly set aside the equal protection question, whether there was racial animus. That was one of the things they could have decided. John Roberts, stroke of a pen, said, we're not even going to find that here. Moreover, there wasn't even a plausible inference that this was done for racial reasons. That hurts the Dreamers a little bit because it would have been a huge win to get a constitutional decision saying this was done for racial biased reasons. That said, everything else you said was correct. And I think this looks a lot to me like last year's census case, where it was Trump's to win, shoddy lawyering, bad failure to show your work, and lots of fibbing seem to have gotten under the Chief Justice's skin. And you sort of come away saying this is the second time where the Chief Justice is just saying, why can't you just lie a little better?
Wow. In terms of that being the deficiency that the Chief Justice homed in on, as you say, avoiding the constitutional issues with DACA directly, does that mean that there is a fix that the administration could gin up relatively quickly to address Roberts' concerns and put the repeal of DACA back into effect? Would this be relatively easy for them to get right now, given what he said about how they got it wrong?
I think two answers, Rachel. I think the first is absolutely. In fact, John Roberts more or less gives a roadmap. He says, if I were to spike this back to DHS and they were to do these things, I would have no problem under the Administrative Procedures Act. It's just that those things weren't done. And that is a huge worry for Dreamers because it's a signal that do it correctly next time and he might be more receptive. On the political question, do I think he's really going to, Donald Trump is going to say, I'm going to prioritize doing this again in an election year when it is so unpopular? Part of the reason, Rachel, that the Trump administration got into trouble was no one wanted to own this. Congress didn't want to own it. The White House didn't want to own it. I think they were hoping that the Supreme Court would do away with DACA. So asking Trump to own it when it's wildly unpopular in an election year where he's sinking fast, it's a political question, but I don't think it's smart.
Dahlia, is there something else that's going to happen before the end of the term that's going to bring this week of two relatively sort of progressive opinions crashing down on us like a reverse hangover? Is this, in terms of what else we're going to hear from the court, are you expecting any doom and gloom between here and the end of the term?
I mean, we have so many big cases. We have this faithless electors case. We have the Trump financial documents case, whether or not there can be oversight. And of course, June Medical, the huge abortion case. So there's so much to come. And I think there was a little bit of a feeling after both Title VII and DACA this week that like the shoe's going to drop and it's going to drop hard on our heads. But maybe we just have a new John Roberts who knows he's going to be on the court for 3 more decades and doesn't want to fiddle with Trumpism anymore. I don't know. I wish I knew.
Well, you'll be the first one who figures it out, certainly before I do. Slate senior editor Dahlia Lithwick, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thanks, Rachel.